This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel starts now.
Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart from Laguna, Seca. It's time for the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart Retro Series Season 4 Championship presented DMLC Racing Channel. This is the HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca, and all of the simulated retro Lotus 79 action from the green flag to the victory donuts will stream your way live as it happens here on the iRacing Esports Network, the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the track that produced The Pass and catapulted Alex Zanardi into superstardom, welcome to another GSRC broadcast and tonight's Sim Experience Countdown to the Green. Alongside Brian Yatsik, I'm Jason Galvin, joining you live up here in the virtual press box in beautiful Monterey, California for tonight's HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca action. Sean Ambrose has director duties. All the great camera angles coming to you courtesy our good friend Dougie Beard. WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, as it is now known, is perhaps the most familiar racetrack to sim racers around the globe. Of course, from its status as a home track on Gran Turismo to the intro classes here on the iRacing platform, millions of sim racers around the world have learned the ropes at this fabled track. So what do you say we learn more about it with your GSRC track guide?
Welcome to Laguna Seca. Located just east of Monterey, California, it's hard to deny that this is one of the more scenic American road courses. It travels up and down a hillside which not only offers spectacular views, but one of racing's most iconic corners. Clocking in at 2¼ miles in length, 11 turns split up the current configuration. I say current because up until 1988, the track's layout was shockingly simple with a mere 9 dangerously fast corners. But despite becoming a much more technical track, this difficult nature was retained in its modern form. Turn 6 in particular places an emphasis on precision and daring with its tricky dip at the apex and narrow racing line. But the most well-known spot on the track is of course the corkscrew. Blind and kinked on entry, it then whips the driver through a chicane which drops you nearly 60 feet. It's earned a reputation worldwide for forcing even the most daring competitors to second-guess themselves. But there's honestly a refreshingly wide variety in types of corners, making it a perfect track for driver coaching and training. Elevation changes, differing cambers, and every sort of apex imaginable leaves seasoned veterans and newcomers alike spending hours trying to perfect a lap. With the track becoming popular for hosting IMSA, IndyCar, and MotoGP in its recent history, it also brings out lots of vintage racers due to the Monterey historics each year. Likely to remain a fixture on the American racing scene, this legendary circuit is almost always high on drivers' best of lists. Its history and its uniqueness are sure to delight all for years to come.
And we welcome back in my broadcast partner, the Wiper Man, Brian Yatsik, WeatherTech Raceway. Well, that's fitting. I didn't even think about that. WeatherTech, wipers. Laguna Seca, really a driver's track here. He has the elevation, the corkscrew, of course, the high-speed corners as well. And something I know you and I both like as a driver, this is a racetrack that rewards aggression.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Jason. You know, we talk about aggressive driving, and with the way that you can really chase this Lotus 79 around the track, Laguna really kind of allows the driver to push those far edges of what they can slide those rear tires around. You know, if you noticed on screen, rear tires being so much larger than the front tires with the new tire model that came in last year. We've talked about this several times throughout the years, but it does provide for some fantastic camera angles looking in on the action here. You know, Jason hit it right on the head, and he mentioned the Gran Turismo aspect because I remember spending thousands of laps myself, clutched to my PlayStation 2 controller, running around this track in every vehicle in that game that we could roll to. So it does bring back some nostalgia. You've got the corkscrew at the top end of the facility, you got the Andretti hairpin at the bottom end of the facility, and everywhere in between, good passing opportunities for the brave, the bold, and even some of the beautiful. With those opportunities provide some danger. You can overshoot the corkscrew and end up way off into the dirt. Any other corners of the high-speed variety on the backside, so basically from the corkscrew down to turn 11, you put a wheel off, it's going to end bad. We saw that a lot at the last road course where you put those rear tires off. Things don't end up well. But you know what does end up well, kids? This countdown to green is brought to you by Sim Experience AccuForce steering system. With the most advanced tuning features on the market, the AccuForce Direct Drive is second only to the real thing. Check out the entire Sim Experience line of products. Head on over to simexperience.com. You know what we're going to head on over to? We're going to head on over to the point standings. Overall driver standings presented by the DMLC Racing channel. There you see Raging Ryan Otis, a nickname I've just made up on the spot. 135 markers clear of Sage Care with Lionel Callisto in third, Aaron Morgan in fourth, with Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman can, rounding out the top five. Noticing that battle for the fifth, basically up through fourth. Pretty easy gaps to overtake, especially when you look at Auto Club being the finale, wide open, and everything is on the table for these drivers. So moving on to the team standings where there's a little bit less competition, where you've got the overall team standings of Raven Motorsports Black, Paulson, Otis, and Wardlow. Yeah, we could pretty much, let's put a pin on that one. Good battle over second, 5 points separating Senrock Esports from Avatar Auto Racing. Raven Motorsports Silver on the far end. Might be able to get back up there. Unacceptable Racing rounding up the top five there. And we're going to send it to Jason, coming back to our Rookie of the Year standings presented by Butt Kicker.
And it's a close one, as Tommy Ryan has leapfrogged his teammate Ricky Harden to take over the Rookie of the Year points lead by 6. Richie Hearn up to third, 9 back. Jason Bossy from second to fourth is 13 back. So a 4-car battle for the Butt Kicker Lionheart Retro Series Rookie of the Year. And as you can tell just by how much those spots have flip-flopped here just from the last round, boy, oh boy, do we still have quite a bit to sort out here in the Rookie of the Year standings. Hey, the Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX and is the premier open-wheel racing league on iRacing. With 2 great series, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment, had a thriller last night at Kansas, and featured series tonight is the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by the DMLC Racing channel. Of course, both series race in memory of the late and great Lionheart himself, Dan Weldon. Yaz, why don't you tell us about the series details?
Series details here brought to us by Minus 273, the premier name in karting gloves, industry-leading gloves, super lightweight and durable, made of breathable poly spandex. Whether you're a kart or a sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit minus273.biz. Don't forget the promo code -273 LHRS15 for 15% off the orders. There you see it, the penultimate round in the championship here of Season 4 with a load of 79. Adjusted fixed setup with cash and prizes, a cool $6,671.
We're rolling, I was just going to say, rolling along here in qualifying, Yaz, just past the halfway mark in qualifying here at Laguna Seca. And everybody should have no problem getting all 4 laps in. That's always something that we look at on these road courses. But here, it looks like things should be pretty good to go with the 1 minute and 13 second and change lap times. And let me tell you right now, Sage Karam's got the field pretty covered. 0.4 of a second up on Ryan Otis and a full second up on third place Mike Rasmus. So keep an eye on some things here tonight. I know Richie Hearn is not planning on qualifying, and as we mentioned, he's in the thick of that Rookie of the Year battle. And so Richie's going to start from the back. It looks like Jason Landis is also electing not to take qualifying time here. So there's 24 cars in the session here tonight. But I got to tell you, as I'm looking around, watching a lot of these cars go around the track, and there is a lot of action happening here on the qualifying laps. Remember the new tire model this year in the retro car, and this is the first track we've been to where you really have to kind of hang it out, as you know, you get out there on those rumble strips and sometimes just go a teeny bit too far and get out into the dirt, and that could make for some exciting moments here tonight.
No, you're absolutely right. And like what I was mentioning kind of at the front end when we were at Road America, a lot of these drivers hanging those rear tires off into the dirt, beyond the rumble strips, beyond the edge of grip, for all sake and measures of these absolutely smalled tires. Don't really grip good on the dirt. So, if you're a fan of chaos and action, and just watching these drivers just hang them out there, hang on. You see classy Jason Boston climbing the hill, beautiful camera angles. There is Ryan Otis. Yeah, he might be getting a send it lap in.
I was just thinking here, because Sage Karam's doing the same thing Otis is, where he's really slow and just kind of taking his time, and I think that is exactly what's happening. It looks to me almost like Sage even reset, and Otis might have done the same thing. So maybe they're, as you mentioned, Yaz, they might be going around trying to burn some fuel off and take one more run at it with fresh tires, which is something you can get away with here with resetting things. Boy, I'm telling you, I know we're out there right now watching Ryan Corns, but I keep looking around, and everywhere I look, somebody's wrecking.
You want to get to the one car. Here we go. This is, I think back to Top Gear when they did the segment on the late Ayrton Senna, and Brundle was talking about how drivers would literally jump out of the way of the qualifying lap that everybody would show up for that weekend and just watch Senna put one on. I'm starting to...
boy! That might have done it for Otis.
There's a certain nostalgia watching that color scheme rip around here, and you know that the driver's aiming for something special.
Man, he got all sorts of crossed up in the corkscrewed eyes calling it off. I think he dropped a wheel. I almost wonder, I haven't checked how many laps he's doing. Nope, that's it. So he's done. Otis will not get Sage. Sage is off as well, and so that's... Sage went off and then hung a right, which we didn't see, but that was kind of fun. I think Yaz and I were both looking. Here's Mike Rasmus, who's kind of taken this series by storm. He's picked up a win and has been Mr. Consistent since sliding on over into the Retro Series.
He might get this one finished up.
He looks like he dropped a wheel as well. I think, is he on a lap here? He won't have time, I don't think.
He's got... Maybe.
He's on lap 4. This is going to be really close. Let's put it that way. There's, I don't think it's going to get there. Yeah, it's 35 seconds to get back around.
You're probably right. The optimist in me is really hoping we're going to rip off a really fast lap time and prove us both wrong.
Mike Rasmus has 10 starts this year in this series with 8 top 10s and 7 top 5s, along with a win at Gateway. And there's the timer. 4 seconds left, so Rasmus ends up about 20 seconds short of making it here. And that's where we're going to leave off. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca here at WeatherTech Raceway. And it is Sage Karam who will start on the pole. For Karam, that is career pole number 12 in just 29 starts. The 12 poles ties him with Ryan Otis for second all-time here in the Retro Series. It's Otis who will start in second place with Mike Rasmussen. Little Train, a great qualifying run for Lionel Kalisto in row 2. Chris Reagan and Jason Bossi up there in row 3, the Rookie of the Year battle. Hint, hint, Dustin Wardlow, Aaron Morgan, that's row 4. Matt Taylor, another one of the rookies here in the series. And Tommy Ryan, that's a great run on a road course. Tommy Ryan inside the top 10, yes?
Absolutely. Just outside of the top 10. Dean Mardi Gras Ball in the 11th spot with James Paulson in the 12th position. There you go, Finian and Ryan Corns. The next row, row 8, going to Ricky Hart, Trevor Malone. You got David Altman there, 17th. Scotty Holmes, 18th. Bobby Mikes sitting there in the 19th spot with Paul Jenkins rounding out your top 20. And I'll just keep going here. You got David Clymer looking to climb up from the blackjack position in 21st. Series founder George Anzaldo, an overall good guy there in the 22nd spot. Richie Hearn and Tyson Landis, neither driver taking time. Richie Hearn, we know because he's not happy with his internet connection, and we don't know with Tyson Landis, but maybe he just likes a flair for the dramatic.
Let's take a look at the weather here for this race at Laguna Seca as we get ready to roll off, and it is pretty warm up here in Monterey. 83 degrees, 112 on the track temp. See the winds, and they are blowing mildly at 7 miles an hour to the northwest. 30% humidity. Boy, I don't know who built the weather here for Laguna Seca. That's pretty accurate for like mid-July. But here we go. At Laguna Seca, you get to the top of this hill, you look out into the Pacific Ocean, but it gets awfully dry and dusty here, to say the least, in the summer months. Let's run through the onboard cameras here as we get a full pace lap, and we'll start with your points leader, your defending series champion, and the man looking to make it 2 in a row, Ryan Otis for HyperX. The Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX.
There we go, Sage Karam, minus 273 on board there. Minus 273 durable, lightweight, breathable racing gloves. Check them out, minus273.biz. Use promo code minus 273 LHRS15 for 15% off all orders.
The rookie Mike Rasmus for Sim Experience, second only to the real thing. Head to simexperience.com and check out that AccuForce Sim Experience wheel. I think one of those found Victory Lane last night, yes?
I would absolutely say so. There we go, on board the HyperX camera with Richie Hearn. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use promo code LION, HRT15 at hyperxgaming.com. Field working their way through the corkscrew. Beautiful camera angles that Dougie Beard has for us today.
It'll be a picturesque race for sure. The pace car will peel off here at the bottom of the hill, and Sage Karam will have a choice on when to go. Usually, the pole sitter will take him down through the corner here and then power down. We're ready to go. WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. The green flag flies for 56 laps in the penultimate race of the Lionheart Retro Series season presented by the DMLC Racing Channel is underway. And Mike Rasmus challenging Ryan Otis for P2 down into turn 1. Sage Karam's going to power down and get away clean. The battle for second, they're clean through turns 1 and 2. And here we go, up the hill, Yaz.
Up the hill there, you see him in rank, Sage, Rasmus, Otis. Ooh, got a couple cars trying to get dancing off in the back of the field. It looked like Finian, I believe, in the 94 had a couple wheels off there. Goodness gracious, look at that. Sweeping up the Ray Hall straight, turn 6, leading up this beautiful long straightaway. Ryan Otis tucked in line, setting up something for the corkscrew. Nah, maybe not on lap 1. Bossy hanging that. I think Bossy took a very wide angle on that too. Looked really cool. Whoa!
The car off. Rasmus. Boy, he started so good up to P2. Let's take a look. Oh, he got too much of the curb.
I'll tell you what. We need to watch Ryan Otis's onboard.
Boy, that could have been a big moment for the points leader. Let's take a look on board with the defending series champion. And man, look at him jump on the brakes. And boy, shout out to Chris Reagan, who was right behind Otis and could have easily run him over and did not, as turn 10 claims its first victim. Looks like Rasmus got away clean from that though, Yaz, and he's fortunate. Usually with this car, you catch too much of the curb like that and it throws you around. It does some wing damage. Did not appear to do so for Rasmus, and now we're going to have the envious position for us because we're sitting up here of watching Mike try to work his way through the field as he currently sits all the way down in the 16th position.
Did get out of all that pretty clean. Pretty much got it off track. Did a 360, maybe even a 540. Grabbed a gear, took off, shook the dust off, and went on down the way. Good battle for the third spot there.
Ryan Otis has opened up a gap on Chris Reagan now. And you are on board with Reagan. Looking out the back of that car towards Little Train, Lionel Callisto. Reagan up 2 spots here in the early going.
A little bit behind that, Matt Taylor overtaking Tommy Ryan down into turn 2. And Matt Taylor up to the 7th spot. He sets off sights towards the back end of Jason Bossy. Battle for P3 starting to heat up once again. Chris Reagan is in control of that. Little Train Callisto chasing him through the corkscrew. Aaron Morgan, Jason Bossy, all giving track. It's just the elevation changes here alone is just fascinating to watch these cars just move around this facility.
Oh boy, and I missed this, but Richie Hearn has had a rough go of it here, he has, and he just knocked Paul Jenkins out of the race. And he's got some pretty serious front wing damage. Richie had an incident where Bobby Mike spun in front of him, and it knocked off the front wing of Richie, and then he came back on the track and ran Paul Jenkins off. Boy, we're gonna have to watch this here. This is kind of an adventurous, this is lap 3 for Richie. That's Bobby Mike's in the blue car here. Just follow them along here. This is turn 2 out of the Andretti hairpin into turn 3. And now watch what happens when they get here to turn 4, which is a fast sweeping kind of off camber right. Bobby's gonna go into the corner and spin. Richie hits him, gets some damage. Now watch when Richie comes back on. He rejoins. Everything seems good, and then here comes Paul Jenkins, that black and gold car. And I don't know if Richie didn't know he was there or what. He just turns over into him and put Paul in the wall. Paul had to take a tow. So Richie Hearn, that Rookie of the Year battle, all sorts of damage on that race car now. Paul Jenkins out of this race. You almost got to wonder if there's a penalty coming at some point for Richie. And so check back in up front here. This is 3rd place. Chris Reagan, green and silver car. Speaking of Richie Hearn, that's his teammate. Little Train right behind him, and Little Train hunting for a podium spot, Yaz.
Really right, getting just about a couple car lengths off the back of Chris Reagan. Hasn't been able to make super inroads, but also at the same time hasn't let that 19 green machine get away. Minding the gap back to Aaron Morgan as well. Oh, Kalisto getting some wheels off there between 3 and 4. Closer, working the way here.
Let's take a look at our race analysis brought to you by Butt Kicker. This is a 56 lapper, and they say the maximum fuel stint here is 29. Now, I'm here to tell you that Richie Hearn gave me a little bit of 411 here before this race. And for those of you who are not old enough to know what 411 means, that means like the inside info, you know.
That's called Google.
Yeah, we have Google now. 411 was when I was like 9, or when our director Sean was like in his mid-30s. Butt Kicker race analysis tells you 29 laps for the maximum fuel stint. Richie says that's really hard to do, to one stop it. He said you basically have to go in heavy fuel saving mode the entire time, and the pit delta is like somewhere in the 27, 28 second range. So if you're not going to fuel save and make to lap 29, then you need to go hard to make sure that you're making up the difference on that delta from whoever you are racing if they do make it that far. So we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, be unlikely that somebody incident points out of this one. There is a rule for that eventually here in the Lionheart series, but you rack up penalty points, and that's not good if you're running for points here in this series. And we're keeping it right here with the best battle on the track. These guys are already 11 seconds back of Sage Karam, who is just pounding the field here on lap 6. And he's 7.5 seconds up on Ryan Otis. Of course, part of that's because Otis had to jump on the binders when Rasmus had his problem there on lap number 1 as they come down the corkscrew and hang a left here. Reagan and Little Train, and then great aerial view there. You see behind them, that's Aaron Morgan in the black car, and classy Jason Bossy in the Motorola throwback paint scheme there. Hey, even Matt Taylor's starting to poke his nose in there. So we got 5 cars here, Yaz. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th that are all within stone's throw of each other as they come down into turn 2.
Remember, Taylor got around Ryan a couple laps ago and started setting off towards this pack. Little Train, I feel like he has 2/3 of the track that he gets better than Chris Reagan. But the problem is Chris Reagan, the thirds that are important is around turn 11, and he kind of could easily get that run to defend the Andretti hairpin. So then Kalisto sets off, gets all the way back up towards the rear end, and then loses it all again turn 11 and has to set sight. I feel like I've been watching the same script over and over again. Meanwhile, Aaron Morgan dragging him up there. Bossy's coming with them. We've already talked about Taylor. Don't look too far back, though. Black and yellow goal, or black and yellow machine. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Tommy Ryan.
Tommy trying to get up there into this battle as well. But it's about a 1.5 seconds back of Taylor. But Chris Reagan's good lap here has opened up the gap on Little Train a little bit. And Little Train all of a sudden looking up in that mirror, Yaz, and he's got all sorts of company. Aaron Morgan got a good launch out of the final corner as they come up the hill on the front straight here and now tuck on down into turn 2. And look at Aaron Morgan popping to the outside, and that's making Little Train defend low.
Little Train took the defensive line going in there. Aaron thought about maybe trying to get it to the outside, but decided to just kind of fall in line, set off, get at him again.
Had an incident getting down into the Andretti hairpin there. Trevor Malone turned Ryan Corns. David Altman also was involved in that. Looks like everybody's going to get away, but with some damage. We'll keep it here. And you get a look at Altman. The battle up here, staying solid. Great run by Chris Reagan, starting to open up that gap. And see if Aaron Morgan here, this would be the key. You got to get down to the final corner, Yaz. You get the throttle down onto the front straight, get that big run. Saw Little Train start to kind of hang the right rear out there.
Yeah, I've always looked at turn 11 as the one that I mean, if there's a lot of corners in racing you want to get right. I feel like turn 11 is probably up in your top 5. Just because, I mean, you can see it each and every single lap. You get that massive run, you get it right, You got the momentum, you got it covered all the way down that front stretch, being able to swing it wide to get around turn 2, using that momentum. And that's the thing that you've learned quick about Laguna Seca, very, very momentum based. You get into the rhythm and the flow, the ups and the downs, the ebb and the flow, and you realize that this place just has a rhythm, has a nice flow to it. And if you don't put the tires off, it always looks after you. But, as we've already seen, Laguna Seca, that razor's edge, just waiting for a driver to overstep it. Update on Mike Rasmus, up to the 11th spot already.
Knocking on the door of Mardi Gras here to get back in the top 10 as you ride on board with the Sim Experience camera, second only to the real thing at simexperience.com. Mike Rasmus, who, what did he finish last night? Yes, 4th? Jumped up into 4th in the IndyCar race last night after quietly kind of hanging around at the back all night. We've been fortunate on the loud pedal side of things over at the IndyCars to pick Mike up, and what an addition to the team he's been over there. Very unassuming young man. Just kind of quietly goes about his business, and then at the end of every race seems to pop up with a good finish in the IndyCars since he's joined that series. But boy, here in the Retro Series, man, he has been a force since he showed up, and you saw him just blow by Mardi Gras like he was standing still to get back into the top 10. And there, saw that great camera view there under the Mother's Polishes Bridge. See kind of just how far ahead Mike had to go to catch up Dustin Wardlow's. Ricky Hardenoff, I'm told. Ricky is around.
Number 5 machine crab walking. We're going to find out why right here on replay. Oh,
man. Oh, hard hit for Ricky Harden. Boy, that's a weird spot. Yeah, it's usually when turn 4 bites you, it bites you because the back end just kind of gets loose with that aggressive turn in. But that time it looked like Ricky might have missed the entry and caught the curbs. That's an unusual moment there, and that car is, to put it politely, ugly. Yeah, that's there is no alibi for that car. Let me tell you.
I've seen the county fair bump and run cars look prettier than that one.
Ricky coming to pit road here, and because he's in the Rookie of the Year battle, I'm going to guess he's going to park there and see how much they can fix. But just looking at that thing, that might be a meatball. We'll have to wait and see. Tommy Ryan got company. That's Candyman Dustin Wardlow coming up the hill behind him there. Tommy in the black and gold car. Looks at the Northern Tools car, right? Right, yes?
Yes, sir.
And Dustin Wardlow back there, and the Dewars, candies, and chews, and ice cream. And let me tell you, if you are looking for like the most crazy, unique gift for a loved one here this holiday season, you need to check out our good friends at Dewars. I am certainly partial, because they're in my hometown of Bakersfield. DewarsCandy.com. Talk about a company that's been around for over 100 years. Yeah, people hear taffy chews, right? You think of saltwater taffy. Saltwater taffy sucks compared to this. Let me tell you. I don't. If you think saltwater taffy is the greatest thing in the world, you need to have Dewars taffy chews because they're 10 times better. And if you hate saltwater taffy, you need to have Dewars chews because you're gonna love this. You'll find a taffy that you love. They're hand-rolled chews. They got homemade filling inside. It's incredible. Yaz, how many boxes you put down? How many boxes?
You know, it's better if we don't say that number out loud.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. That's Dustin. You're helping out Dustin there with his holiday shopping, I'm sure. So, look, I'm just telling you, DewarsCandy.com. You will not regret it if you are looking for the coolest, tastiest candies you've ever had. We're checking in on Sage Karam. Sage is 14 seconds ahead. All right, thank you very much, Director. Let's move on to somebody else now. Just kidding. Just kidding, Sage. Boy, does he make this look easy sometimes, Yaz. I mean, there are days where you get a road course and Ryan Otis and Mike Rasmus can give him a run, and this is not one of them.
No, Sage has a very firm grasp on pretty much every aspect of Laguna Seca here today. you've got yourselves 15 seconds up there. But somewhere that's a little less calm. This is I'm just going to start calling it a bee's nest. Kind of buzzing around the final step on the podium. Reagan still in control of that spot. Kalisto still back there. But you're starting to see in some of these camera angles, more and more cars are getting within those shots. So now where there was a bigger gap of about 10 car lengths back to Taylor, maybe that's probably about 6 car lengths now. They got about 10 back to Tommy Ryan and Dustin Wardlow, that battle that we were just covering. Here comes Mike Rasmus, this blue and orange machine. Just slide back. There you go. Get a little look back there on the camera. There we go. And you see, those are all the cars that we've been talking about for the last 5, 6, 7 laps. All right there in front of that number 68 machine.
Let's take a ride with Mike Rasmus around WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. If you're sitting at home, why don't you take those speakers up a couple notches? Out of the final corner and up the hill, Mike Rasmus trying to chase down Dustin Wardlow. Wardlow in 9th, Rasmus back there in 10th after starting 3rd and taking over the 2nd position on the opening lap, but he spun coming down the hill into turn number 10 and has had to fight his way back from 16th since then. Rasmus will get around Wardlow and up to P9. Some house cleaning notes here. Something happened with Dean Mardi Gras Mall. We missed what it was, but Dean has dropped out of the race. So has Ricky Harden. So Ricky Harden is officially out. They could not get that race car fixed, Yaz, and so that really throws a curveball into a couple of things here, specifically the Rookie of the Year standings. We got Trevor Malone off. Trevor Malone's around. Boy, that, let me just tell you.
Oh, there's another car up there too.
Turn 4. Turn 4 is running away with the George in that as well. Turn 4 running away with the Super Bowl pool for cars destroyed in this race. Oh, Trevor. Oh, George.
Oh.
Into the tires.
Razor's Edge I was mentioning or rambling about a little while ago.
Well, speaking of cars that have had a rough race, here's Richie Hearn, who's now lost a lap back there in the 17th or 16th now as he comes around and cycles on up. And Richie has 22 races here in the Retro Series. Made his first start last year and picked up a podium. But last week, Yaz, right? That's the race I had a last-second emergency and couldn't make. A great run for Richie. It was his 4th career top 5. He's got 9 top 10s and 22 races. Richie Hearn, Sir Richard, as I like to refer to him as of this very second. Lives in the Vegas area. And yes, if you were unfamiliar with the Lionheart series, you're thinking to yourself, Richie Hearn. I think I remember that name. That is the same Richie Hearn that was victorious in the IRL, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. way back. Not to age Richie too much here, but yes, can you believe that was like almost a quarter of a century ago?
That happened when I was 7. Thanks.
Yeah, it makes all of us feel old. Hey, David Altman just got a drive-through penalty, and I'm trying to figure out why. He was behind George when the Trevor Malone incident happened, and I'm looking around here, and I'm not seeing it yet. I'm really not seeing it yet. So we'll have to wait and get some feedback maybe from David Cordy, the race captain, on that. Check back in on third. Chris Reagan, Little Train.
Reagan still in control. Callisto giving chase down the front stretch down here into the Andretti hairpin. This corner right here is deceiving on just how tricky it is to get it right. It looks like just a gentle right-hander, life's okay. But the way that you set up into that corner, so easy to overblow it. Well, let's take a look back at Rasmus. His charge through the field continues. Matt Taylor is the next driver on the menu for the 68 machine, poking the nose out. Hello, I'm here, sir. Taylor. I think Taylor wisely just said, all right, no. You go ahead. Because I think he knew that Mike Rasmus potentially was going to get that aggressive line into the corkscrew and just decided that best to keep rolling on. Now, Rasmus up to the 8th spot. Setting his sights on Tommy Ryan. The back half of this race, Rasmus, he could get up to Bossy. And then if he gets up to Bossy, that's going to be real good battling for that last step on the podium. Go back up there. I mentioned Jason Bossy. Let's jump up there. Bossy and Morgan. So here's your subplot of battles here for that podium spot. Bossy has been reeling it in slowly each and every single lap, getting back up to the 48 machine, joining this whole battle. So now that battle is going on. It's going to kind of distract everybody from the actual third place battle, which Callisto and Reagan have been waging. I'm pretty sure since the drop of the green flag. Reagan, Callisto, everybody hanging that rear tire out. Oh, look now, though. Just back beyond that, Rasmus setting his sights on Tommy Ryan. This will be up to the 7th spot. Rasmus giving chase down here in the Andretti hairpin. Looking back now from that number 99 machine, watching Rasmus, that blue car, get bigger and bigger in the mirror. Once again, fantastic camera angles here. Now we've been able to put together a couple good corners there, build up a little bit of gap, but I think we're going to watch that gap evaporate through the corkscrew here. Rasmus is just attacking it and just carrying so much momentum out of that into turn 9 and turn 10. The entrance to pit road, deceivingly tricky as well. A little bit of better exit for Ryan off of 11, building that gap back. Fantastic racing here out Laguna Seca.
Closing in on the pit window here too, Yaz, as we're working lap 21. So this is when we'll get to wait and see as David Altman is off and around coming up the hill under the Bubba Burger Bridge, and he's going to have to get that loop back around. Boy, there you see him. David was over there checking in on the endangered sand crab species on the side of the hill. Have to get a post-race report on whether David found any more. Tommy Ryan, P7, still hanging on with Rasmus behind him there.
I will say that battle didn't get completed as fast as I thought it would, with the way that Rasmus was starting through the field. Ryan getting aggressive on the curbs, have to take the defensive line now into 11, which I think is just going to give way to Rasmus being side by side on exit. Maybe Tommy's just going to let the 68 go right here.
I don't know if Tommy had a choice, Yaz. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you can just allow the inevitable to happen or put up a little bit of a fight.
But I tell you what, Tommy did a good enough job hanging on there and holding off Rasmus. And now Mike's got a pretty sizable gap. You see it there to classy Jason Bossy. It's about 4 seconds.
Back there, good battle.
Oh, I tell you what, the Rake, Little Train, Morgan, Bossy battle, when Rasmus gets there, if Rasmus gets there, I suppose I should say, that is going to be spectacular to watch.
Right on board, your championship points leader, Ryan Otis in the HyperX camera. Down here into the Andretti Straight. Ooh, a little bit of back and forth there on the steering wheel. You watch that. See if you can get a better angle for this corner. It's so tricky, Jason. It's just, I can't really describe it. It's just why that corner always frustrates me here.
Yeah, I always actually, believe it or not, I always for some reason really struggled with 11. And I don't know what it was, but I just could never get comfortable. It wasn't necessarily that I couldn't get through there quick. I just couldn't get comfortable. Now, here's a section of the track I absolutely love. That is coming up. Turn 6 to me is one of the greatest corners in racing from a driving standpoint. Now, it's obviously there's zero passing that ever happens there, but when you go through 6 up to the Rahal Straight, I mean, that is like a blip the throttle and pray type of corner. And man, when yeah, as you know this, when you hit it right, there's kind of a little dip on the inside of the corner. And when you hit it right, it hooks the car and shoots you up the hill, and man, does it feel good. And when you miss it, if you don't have fast repairs, it's a great way to go over beer.
When you get that right, you know you've achieved the perfect mixture.
Oh, Wardlow! Boy, and I'll tell you what, Wardlow just got a break as well. The last lap, Matt Taylor, who was chasing Wardlow, spun. Ironically, it was up there in the turn 5, turn 6 complex. And so Wardlow lost all the pressure from behind. He was on Tommy Ryan. Here's that turn 11, Yaz, and it looks like I just a little too much throttle there. Didn't get the wheel straight. Did a nice job keeping it off the wall. Gets it looped back around. He's not even going to lose a spot, actually. He still has a decent gap back to Matt Taylor, but man, you know the Candyman's going to be frustrated with that one.
Yeah. One out in the corner, didn't lose a spot. Carries on. It's not a bad way to be. Not a bad way to be.
Meanwhile, here is we're what are we, a lap or 2 laps away from pit stops potentially here. Knock knock, but Mike Rasmus has just chopped down the gap to Jason Bossy from 4 to a second in 3 laps. And Rasmus is about to start knocking on the door here to make some moves. See Sage Karam, and this leads up to 17 seconds. No offense to Sage, but let's just say he could Sunday cruise this one. He'd probably still be in pretty good shape.
I'll tell you what, he could go on the Sunday cruise and he could be into about a Wednesday cruise by now. Back on board into the bee's nest. Mike Rasmus. You said it's when or if. Yeah, Rasmus is there. When you're ripping off lap times, 13.9s, and that's the second fastest lap time on the track. Sage Karam on pit road.
Well, that's two stopper Sage.
Maybe I think with Sage's outright speed, why risk it?
True.
Zero reason for him to risk it for the biscuit right now. Make the other guys make the mistake.
I guess the only question here is if Otis can somehow one-stop this deal. Then we might be interesting. But that's about it. I mean, Sage has already out-delted Chris Reagan at third. Oh boy, Chris Reagan just said, thanks, man, and it didn't sound, let's go check and make sure. I wonder if that was a serious or a sarcastic.
Oh, I see a wounded machine.
No, it was a serious one. David Altman got out of the way, actually. Good on David Altman for that, because he's off the pace with all sorts of damage. He just let like 7 cars by.
Kalisto got by Chris Reagan. That was a move set up. Chris Reagan absolutely overshot.
Yeah, that was all Chris. Chris messed up on his own, and then Jason Bossy just went around.
Yeah, back of that camera angle back there. Jason Bossy going for a loop.
Boy, Ricky hardened it.
Yeah, right there. Turn 5. Claims
turn 4.
Turn 4 claims another one.
And it's the curb again, which is what happened to Ricky Harden. Boy, Mike Rasmus had a brown stainer there. Let me tell you, trying to get through that one.
It's not the Curba Grande.
Wowzers, boy! I don't know how Rasmus got through that. Actually, looking back, and pit road, boy, everybody coming to pit road.
Otis.
I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of them.
Let's keep this in mind right now. Ryan Otis over Sage Karam is about, let's call it 10 seconds. What does that say on screen there?
8.5.
Yeah, let's go 8.5. So if somehow that gap can maintain, let's say it drops to 4 in another 3 laps, Otis is the smartest person in California right now. Yeah,
I just wonder, is he coming this time? No, he's going one more. Boy, I tell you what. I don't know if Ryan Otis is going to get back around to pit road, but if he does, he has successfully one stop to this race, he has, because remember, we had the pace lap, so we're going to stay with him and watch here. He had the pace lap, and man, if he one stops this and doesn't lose too much ground,
that's huge. Like I said,
we've got something to watch at the end of the race, that's for sure.
Your point of reference, Ryan Otis just going through turn 4 right now, looking up. Sage Karam just going through turn 3. So that's a full long straightaway. So even Otis, looking back at the mirror, he knows he has that advantage built up. A couple other guys going for the long haul. Chris Reagan, Aaron Morgan. Kalisto just pitted, Ryan pitted. A couple others on the longer stint.
But that also makes you wonder with Otis if some of that gap Sage built was Ryan saving fuel from the pace lap.
Well,
and if he can go all out to the end, I mean, just all sorts of interesting questions here. And he'll surely come to pit road this time. There it is. Ryan Otis peels off.
And you're absolutely right, too. And remember that Otis had to dodge the spinning car of Rasmus earlier. So that has to factor in a little bit to that gap as well.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that's worth 4 or 5 seconds on that delta. And here we go. Otis into his stall. No tires for the one car. Fuel only.
Absolutely.
And away he goes.
Many Imperial gallons as you can shove into that thing.
Yeah. Plus another half if you could, please. Please and thank you.
Someone decided to.
I was just gonna say bowling. Was that a turkey?
I know it's road construction season, but there's no reason to be angry towards the cones. Chris Reagan pitting in.
But Chris Reagan managed to make it that far as well.
Bossy's the only other driver.
Aaron Morgan also made it that far.
Oh, Finian and Pulse sneaking into the back half of the top 10 there.
As Chris Reagan comes out ahead of Little Train. So he jumped. How about that? Chris Reagan stretches it and jumped Little Train in the process again. Then Aaron Morgan, then Rasmus, then Corns. Corns is rather far back at this point from that group. So it's basically a 4-car group, but half of them, it appears, can go to the end. So, you know, we're going to have some things to watch here, Yaz, to say the least. In fact, Tyson Landis just came to pit road and is on the one-stop strategy now as well. Although I'll also say this, there's a few guys who should recognize that they're lap down or close to it, and therefore the one-stop strategy is lessened by 1 lap. I find it interesting, as I think, because I am perpetually one of the cars that is like the first car lap down on a road course. I always have to remember that in fuel mileage races. Like, oh yeah, I actually don't need to go the full distance. I can go 1 less lap because there's a really good chance that somebody named Karen or Blocker is going to blow by me here at some point with 10 laps to go.
True, and if you're, back there, sometimes look at it, they lap you, go, well, hey, that's 1 less lap just on the track, period.
Oh yeah, also yeah, one less lap for me to rack up incident points. Exactly.
Not gonna lie, I've had a couple nights on iRacing where it go, yeah, go ahead, leader, go ahead. Yep. I just want to be.
Barber this year in the IndyCar stands out vividly to me. We're with about 6 to go. Adam got there, and I went by. Oh, Little Train's off. Little Train, he hung on to it. Boy, that's going to be a bucking Bronco ride. You can kind of see it there in front of Aaron Morgan.
Goes off on the exit. You're going to watch it right here. Sweep it through the corner. Right rear, just off.
Boy, let's go on board here and watch this, because Little Train's going to have to do some wheeling. Look at this, little to the right, a lot to the left. Hang on to it. Boy, I tell you what, Lionel, if you're looking for work next summer and the New York Yankees need a new groundskeeper, I'm sure they will be happy to have you come drag the infield.
Fantastic to see that 97 machine just out there.
Well, here's Rasmus next to Aaron Morgan, and Mike Rasmus up to the 4th position, yes. What a drive from 16th to 4th in 30 laps after that lap 1 spin.
So it's an absolutely astounding drive. Rasmus appears that he's hovering around the same strategy as Sage. So Mark Rasmus probably into the 2-stop category.
I would think the spin essentially guaranteed Mike, or made it, I shouldn't say guaranteed, but probably made it pretty hard for him to try and one-stop it, because you use so much fuel trying to loop it back around. Mike now going to go try to chase down Chris Reagan and jump up into a podium spot for the time being. And remember, Chris is on that one-stop strategy as well, so he would be wise to just move on over when Rasmus gets there. Which, based on the lap times he's been running, will probably be like the next lap.
Yeah, I was going to say. So somewhere around now.
Yeah, just about the time that you come out of the Andretti hairpin here.
Oh!
Rasmus almost.
Reagan had a moment going into the corner. There's some smoke down there, and I'm trying to figure out what that was.
Oh, Tyson Landis spun in front of Reagan. That's what it was. Tyson Landis got down there into 1 and spun, and boy, Chris Reagan, boy, I tell you what, I give Tyson Landis credit, because he spun and took a toe, Yaz, and that might have saved Chris Reagan's race. Could have been really bad. Let's take another look at it here. You'll see what happened.
And Rasmus, too.
So here's Landis. Comes down, loses the rear end, slides around. Now watch this. And gone. Boy, I tell you what. Yeah, Reagan and Rasmus were both hunting in the wrong direction there. Heads up move by Tyson Landis to get to the reset button and just get it off the track. He was running around the last car on the track without damage, so nothing to really lose anyways. Been a couple moments in this race, haven't there?
Oh, you. To add extra ripple towards the battle for the lead, Ryan Otis currently faster than the leader of Sage Karam.
Boy, that is interesting, is it not?
I mean, you got the fuel. Remember when you were a kid, Jason, and you saved up for whatever the shiny widget that you wanted, and you felt so good when Mom drove you to the store and you got the widget? Well, if you look at the first half of this race for Ryan Otis, he was saving. He was saving and saving to get to this point to go ahead, go have fun.
Boy, it's interesting too here, Yaz. Pit lane delta was about 31 seconds for the quick cars. Ryan Otis was 32 and a half because he went that extra lap and tried to fill it up as much as he could. You got to figure quicker stop is what Sage will need at the end. He'll only need 3 or 4 laps of fuel, no tires, so really just a splash and go essentially. So let's say that we knock off 4 or 5 seconds from that, right? I mean, that still puts him at 25, 26 on pit road. And how far behind is Ryan Otis right now?
About 23?
24, 23.9. So, I mean, Ryan has to do everything in his power to stay kind of right where he's at on Sage. And Sage Karam's going to need the pit stop of a lifetime if all things stay the same. Let's take a look at 7th. Is this Tommy Ryan and classy Jason Bossy? It sure is, boy. And boy, is it sure. That Dougie Beard camera angle there, we caught to it and looked like a scene out of Driven going up the hill, didn't it?
There's no quarter on the track. Ooh, Bossy making the move to the inside of 11. Tommy looks like he didn't fight that one all that hard. But there you see the run that you could build from the corkscrew. Bossy going defensive there. I took that. Okay, I thought he had a little bit bigger of a gap there. But you see the run that you build from the corkscrew, all of that momentum carries you down the hill towards turn 11. Build that gap up, build the advantage, drive on away. Bossy's been taking the defensive line into the corner, and Tommy got on the radio and said, "Don't worry about that."
I heard that. That's why we both started giggling at the same time there. Tommy Ryan was like, "I'm good, man. I will ride in 8th."
Yeah, I admire the dedication, but and then of course since then I feel like Bossy's been like, "Oh, okay," and just checked out. Rasmus on pit road. And gallon it away.
Interesting. So Mike Short didn't.
Yep, get it out of the way early. Bill, especially here, we've only got 24 cars that started the race, and we've got 18, let's call it 17 chassis still rolling around here. So your odds of finding a pretty big gap in the track are pretty good.
Just gonna
and if you're driving like Rasmus,
he pops out here. That's Sage right behind him. Okay, so that's your leader, Sage Karam, who, by the way, has opened up another 1.5 seconds on Otis, and so that's important for Sage. So Karam with Otis now behind him, or pardon me, Rasmus with Karam behind him, and Dustin Wardlow in front of him. And at this point, Mike's just got to be thinking to himself, like, every car I pass is a guaranteed spot on the track at the end of this race. I'm done pitting. And that might be bad news for Sage, because I can't imagine Mike's just going to move over and let him go here.
Yeah, I can't imagine that either.
19 laps to go.
I don't see it happening.
19 when Sage crosses the stripe here.
I mean, we shouldn't be asking me. We should be asking the race winner from last night, Mr. Jason Galvin. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not moving over for anybody, but you know that already.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, but Mike does. Boy, Sage.
I was not expecting that.
Sage licked the stamp from, like, Sonoma Raceway to make that move. Boy, and then he caught the curb. Whoa, man. Sage's gonna have some moments here. Yeah, let's just follow Sage around here, because he just passed Wardlow and he's into clean air. But man, did he have some moments. First off, look how deep he drives this thing, and then watch when he gets to turn 4, which is already taken enough race cars out of this race to build its own graveyard. Dale Jr. would be jealous. And watch this.
Ooh.
Thump. Boy, you can see the car, and look at him. Dropped a wheel, kind of. Man. That was a holy shnikes moment. Sage just dropped a few wheels. I show him at 5 instant points. Ryan Otis is at 1. I think he dropped a wheel when he was avoiding Rasmus. A couple cars are still clean in this race. Chris Reagan, Tommy Ryan, James Paulson. Boy, Sage is knocking off a second a lap on Otis right now. It's bad news for Ryan. I almost wonder if Ryan was going to be short on fuel. Yes. I wonder if he needed to save a little more. It had to be. It's the only thing I could think of. As you watch Wardlow try to hold on over Rasmus there.
You know, and part of that too, Otis was dealing with some lap traffic. The number 30 machine of Paulson, Aiden Taylor. The contest around that could have cost just a little bit, because he got through one of them fine and had to follow, I believe it was Taylor, up through the back half of the track here. Cost him a little bit of time.
Oh, Rasmus, boy. We're watching Wardlow there. Mike hung a rear wheel and almost looped her there in 10, but he's going to do a nice job getting down into 11 and powering off next to Dustin. And it's a good old-fashioned drag race up the hill. Give the spot to Rasmus. He'll power down and start to inch away from Wardlow.
Textbook. It's pretty much the best battle. Kind of going around the facility. Everybody's kind of built their gap out. Wardlow can mount any kind of charge back on Rasmus. Don't see it happening.
Aaron Morgan's doing a nice job kind of hanging around with Chris Reagan there. The gap's the 2.5. That's 3rd and 4th. Remember, both of those cars, as far as we know, can go the distance from here on out. Can I tell you something I missed, Yaz? Jason Bossi went a lap further than even Otis and Reagan and Morgan. How in the heck did he do that? Like what? Like I'm reading that right? Unless he didn't two-stop. Boy, that's
Smoky. It's a Smoky Unique fuel line there.
Right? Yeah. Thought iRacing had anti-cheat software. Yes, what's going on? There you see the gap. Reagan in the green and silver. Morgan in that maroonish car. Aaron Morgan's another guy that started running with silver on the IndyCar side of things. Yes, wish he streamed. I think some of our viewers would get a kick out of that. He's one of those guys who likes to talk his way through a race, and man, let me tell you, probably get some entertaining content if you were just watching his stream as he talked his way through different situations and scenarios. Of course, he probably doesn't want to stream because he probably sits there and talks about his strategy the whole time, so then his competitors can just tune in and be like, I guess know what lap Aaron's pitting on, right?
Well, you know, we've seen people in this league use social media to admit dumb things. I think is that how it's tactfully, I think, as I could put that?
Yeah, that was pretty safe, yeah.
Okay. That was a safe, base hit.
It was actually, I'll call that it's like a solid single into center field.
Okay.
But yeah, that's happened.
Yeah. Yes.
Recently, in fact. Let's check in with your leader. Sage Karam leads up to 28 and a half as we ride on board with the veteran NTT IndyCar Series driver and the minus 273.biz on board. Wore a set of those minus 273 gloves last night. Give me the perfect wheel on an Ackie Force wheel. Sage ripping up the hill. Up Ray Hall, heading towards the corkscrew. The scene of the pass. Not just any pass. You know the pass. If you're an open wheel racing fan, there's only one pass. And that's where it happened. 1996. Alex Zanardi and Brian Herta from my hometown, Santa Clarita, California. My rival high school. Brian and Colton, for that matter. Still live down in town. See him around every once in a while. Man, that was going to be Brian's first win, and then it wasn't.
It wasn't real fast,
right.
Yeah.
He made up for it. He'd win Laguna Seca the next 2 years, in 97 and 98, and then went on and won a couple of IRL races for the Andretti team. And now he's turned himself into quite a team manager and race strategist. A couple of Indianapolis 500 wins with the late, great Dan Weldon and Alex Rossi. And that feeling a matter of time before Brian calls his way to a championship as well. When you're working with drivers like Alexander Rossi and Colton Herta, I mean, almost just feels like a matter of time before both of them are IndyCar champions. Of course, it'll help when Scott Dixon says that he's finally had enough.
When Scott Dixon lets everybody else play with his toys.
The entire IndyCar field probably hoping and praying that day is sooner than later. Let's check in here on 7th. Tommy Ryan. And here's Rasmus. Remember, Mike Rasmus already completed his second pit stop. So Mike is pedal to the metal from here on out with nothing to lose and only spots to gain.
Chomping at the bit. Tommy's probably going, wait. I just went by. Why are you coming back? All right, I think going for the one stop. Yes, he's got the same fuel strategy as Ryan Otis. Rasmus, it was looking like he was going to get real feisty, real punchy, heading off into that corner. Sticking the nose out.
I don't think Tommy Ryan was planning on the one stopper, Yaz. I'm just looking. I don't think he was planning on it, but he's been lapped, and so now he's able to do it, if that makes sense. That good old lap coming into play there. Lap field comes into play. Now Tommy can effectively make it. Rasmus looking right, looking left.
Let's also bring in Wardlow back into this.
I was going to say, Wardlow doing a really nice job hanging on to that. This is 7th, 8th, 9th.
Oh, Tommy!
Boy, no, Rasmus and Wardlow almost collect each other. Kind of reacting to it there. There goes the clean race for Tommy Ryan as he rolled off track. Take a look, down into 2, the hairpin. Locks her up.
Just missed it. Just wherever he was braking, just missed it by that much more. And you see where
Rasmus and Wardlow now can continue their battle. 7th and 8th. Look at Dustin. Was he thinking about making a move into the corkscrew? Then probably thought to himself, you know, I watched that Alex Zanardi, Brian Hurta video, and I'm still not sure how they made it, so I'll hang on. Boy, Aaron Morgan, meanwhile, has climbed all over Chris Reagan for 3rd. Let's roll on board with the 48 car. Chris got through turn 4 better. But Aaron's been really good. I've been watching this up the hill here. Here's where Aaron starts to kind of reel him in. In through 5. And here's that turn 6. The blip of the throttle and hammer down. Pretty even through there for both of them. Now to the corkscrew. Aaron starts to kind of eat into Reagan down the hill. Turn 9. Here's 10. Down into 11. And a great job by Aaron there. He cut a decent chunk out of Reagan as they head up the hill.
It's always a good thing as a driver when you watch that guy that you're chasing.
Boy, Reagan.
Bigger and bigger. And Reagan just allowing Aaron to get that much closer. Maybe he's checking the mirror. You look up and you miss your brake mark.
Sage Karam just ran a 1:12.43. And newsflash, the delta is 34 seconds. And that's going to be enough for Sage. If all things stay the same.
That was I'll show you.
Look at Morgan putting the pressure on Chris Reagan through the corkscrew. Boy, this is where you got to be careful if you're Morgan, though, Yaz, because you got a lot of time left in this race, 9 laps. And it's so easy as the chasing driver to just kind of give it a little too much throttle, right? Especially somewhere like here.
Yeah, the art of chasing around the road courses. It's all about throttle management because you get close, you get excited. Maybe you're up on the delta as well. If you run the delta bar, you got all that positive flowing through you. And you still have to remember you can't stomp on the brake pedal 50 feet earlier than you have been all night. Or put that tire off. You still have to focus. You still have to have that just determination to get to where you need to be without sabotaging yourself, because you're right. There's still 8 laps to go.
It was a little bit from Morgan there in turn 3. It looked like he took too much of the curb. Allowed Reagan to kind of open up that gap a little. That's the other thing, yeah, as you get a track like this, a couple blind corners. There's one of them, right? In turn number 6, the corkscrew's blind. And if you get too close to the car in front of you, then you lose your reference points, right? And then you're kind of at the mercy of that car. Like, well, I hope he's got it pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's kind of like driving in a heavy rain. You're just following the taillights ahead of you, and you're just hoping that they don't hit something.
Gap closes again into 11, back to the front straight. 8 more circuits for these two.
And these two, like I said, from the drop of the green flag, 1948.
Another purple lap for Sage, a 1:12.36. Ryan Otis has picked up the pace pretty considerably, 1:12.84 last time by, but might be too little too late from your defending series champion. It's also about time for Sage to come back down to pit road here. It's been 24 laps. Remember, he pit on lap 25 last time.
Especially with that extra pace there. I mean, I think just you hedge the bet whenever you can do it.
Sage is just behind that battle we were watching, which Aaron Morgan just had a little slip up and lost some ground.
I'd do it now.
It's here. Let's see.
Yeah, especially right now.
In traffic. That's Little Train right ahead of him. Nope. Gonna run another one.
He knows more than us.
Whoa, look at him. You think he's taking it easy? Still ran a 48 that lap, too, 1:12.48.
Flicking the stamp.
But let me just run this by you and all the viewers right now to give you an idea of how good Sage Karam has been here tonight. Sage's best lap is a 1:12.36. Ryan Otis' best lap is a 1:12.84. The next best individual lap by a driver is Dustin Wardlow's 1:13. Mike Rasmus 1:13.18. And the fourth best is Wardlow's 1:13.50. Sage with 1.2 over the fourth best car on singular best lap times, and I only count 7 cars that have even been in the 13s. So Sage has a 2-second gap on all but 6 cars, and he's in. Sage to pit road, and so here we go. Let's watch the Delta, and let's watch Ryan Otis. I think Sage is going to be okay. Oh, yeah, Ryan just going to the corkscrew. There's no way. Boy, Sage really just threw it down, and he is going to leave his pit stall. That was a longer stop than I thought it would be.
Well, when you know you've built that gap.
Boy, look at that.
Not even close.
Ryan Otis come down the hill.
Wow.
Unbelievable pace from Sage. I mean, there's 2 lapped cars between. Look at this. Otis just came down the hill. I mean, Sage could have took another tank of fuel. Beat him out. All right, let's cycle back around to the battle, we believe, for the final podium spot with Chris Reagan and Aaron Morgan. Now, remember, there's still some questions with some of these drivers. Otis, Reagan, Morgan, can they actually make it? One top.
Oh,
Sage Karam
my goodness.
got a pit road penalty?
No.
We are hearing that Sage Karam sped on pit road, and that will be a drive-through penalty. And that is the case. Boy, he didn't take it that time. Boy, and I got to tell you what I think is happening here, Yaz. If I'm Sage, I know I can run, 2 or 3 laps before the black flag puts me in. If he did, in fact, get one, I'm running the best 2 or 3 laps of my life to open that gap back up to Otis.
Yeah, about 2 more qualifying laps. Yeah.
I'm going to say, Director Sean, can we get a quad box going here? We need to tri-box at least. Sage, Otis in this battle for 3rd. No pressure. Boy, every time Aaron Morgan gets close, he slips a little, and Chris Reagan It's just been Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, through it all, Reagan really only a couple bobbles here and there.
Let's see if Sage is coming. Should be coming down the hill. Into 10.
He's in.
He is. Sage Karam with a speeding penalty. Now, where is Ryan Otis?
Working his way through 10 right now.
Oh, man. Otis down to 11. Oh, man.
Well, then.
Here's Otis up the hill. Where's Sage?
In box. There you go.
Sage
you just
had the
saw.
box. Oh, man. It's not even a stop and go or drive through.
Is that an unsafe exit?
Ryan Otis to the point.
15-second pit stop.
Wow. What a turn of events here at Laguna Seca. Oh, and drama for the podium.
Oh.
Chris Reagan had an issue while we were watching that. He got loose in turn 5. He got loose in turn 5 on the last lap and dropped the right wheels, and Aaron Morgan drove on by. Let's take a look. They're just out of 4, and watch it here. Just walked out and dropped a wheel, and Aaron Morgan, nice job to go right by. Boy, and I just got done saying that every time Aaron got close, he slipped, and Chris was being so smooth. And then he makes a mistake. And look who's out front. The defending series champion. That butt kicker graphics #1 for Ryan Otis. A 135-point lead coming into tonight. Double points at the next race. But if all things stay the same, Ryan Otis is a lap and some change from clinching back-to-back championships. There are not enough points available for Sage Karam to catch Ryan Otis. And all Ryan has to do is get down the hill and around the circuit one more time.
Fantastic drive. The driver of that #1 machine, showing everybody out there in the iRacing world just why he has that number on that car.
Sage Karam hurt by the fact that he missed some races while chasing his real-life racing career and running in Indy cars. And so Sage will end the year, I believe, 1 race short on total points. And that will certainly play into things here. But even had Sage run that race and won it, Ryan Otis would still be right on the verge of locking things up here. There was a car off there as Otis went by, but it was well off and out of the way. And here is Ryan Otis. Off of turn 11 for the 4th time in 2020. Ryan Otis is victorious and will go back to back as champion of the Lionheart Retro Series presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. Sage Karam, with perhaps the most dominating run we've ever seen not end in a victory, comes home in second. Well, there's some cars out of fuel coming up the hill. Dustin Wardlow was one of them. Here's Aaron Morgan. Let's keep an eye on that battle now. because Chris Reagan's right there hanging it out. Does Aaron have enough fuel to get to the line? He sure does. Aaron Morgan, a hard-fought third place over Chris Reagan. And Jason Bossy comes home in 5th. Boy, a great end to this one. Exciting stuff. And a champion is crowned once again. We'll talk to him when we return. This is the HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca here on the Global Sim Racing channel on the iRacing Esports Network. Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca and the HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca and the HyperX post-race show. You know, the Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, and when you're trying to claw your way to the top of the podium, it pays to have ultra-comfortable, high-quality headsets that give you the audio information you need to grab the checkered flag. From high-performance DRAM and SSDs to outstanding mics, accurate mice, responsive keyboards, of course, the legendary Cloud line of gaming headsets. I promise you won't even realize you have a headset on. HyperX makes the gaming gear you need to succeed. Casual or pro, no matter your creed, your color, or your culture, we're all gamers. HyperX is always ready to game. Use the promo code LionHRT15 at HyperXGaming.com. And if you don't have your HyperX headphones plugged in for the next segment, don't worry. You'll be able to read the finishing results thanks to our good friends from Turn Racing, merging the gap between real and sim racing. They have a promo code as well at turnracing.com. It's Lionheart 10. What a stunner as Ryan Otis becomes the third winner in 3 attempts here at Laguna Seca and picks up the 4th win of the season and for his career, win number 9. Sage Karam. Boy, you talk about heartbreak. I'm not sure I've ever seen a driver dominate a race the way he did here tonight. And all he has for his second place, Aaron Morgan. Late move to get around Chris Reagan for third place. Classy Jason Bossi brings her home in the top 5. Mike Rasmus on the lead lap after that spin gets back to 6th. The 2-stopper really hurt him. And Little Train also finished on the lead lap, comes home in 7th. Tommy Ryan, David Clymer, and Finney DeCunha. Boy, we didn't talk much about David and Finney in here tonight. I'm not sure we even said their name after the starting lineup there, but both of them bring home top 10s.
Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, in the 11th spot with Matt Taylor just behind him. James Paulson in the unlucky 13th. You know, it is officially Friday the 13th in 2020, so prepare for whatever tomorrow is going to bring. Trevor Malone in the 14th spot with Scott Holmes 15th. Corns taking 16th with 17th to David Altman. Tyson Landis, Bobby Mikes, and Richie Hearn rounding out your top 20 in that order. Series founder George Ansaldo, after an early meeting with the tire barriers, ending up in the 21st spot. Dean Mardi Gras Mall in 22nd. Ricky Hart 23rd, and Paul Jenkins unfortunately shotgun on the field tonight.
Let's talk to your race winner and officially now back-to-back Lionheart Retro Series presented by DMLC Racing Channel champion, Ryan Otis. Ryan, congratulations. I'm sure that you had no visions of winning that race with 5 laps to go, but you did everything you had to do, and Sage made a mistake, and here you are in victory lane. What a way to clinch a championship.
Yeah, boy. I felt like I didn't really earn that one. Sage had me on speed, and kind of my only hope to make it close was to really save fuel pretty much the whole race to try to make it to lap 28. So I kind of, yeah, I mean, even if I had been pushing, 100% and making it a 2-stopper, he still would have had me just on pure speed alone. So yeah, he did a great job. I know he got that speeding penalty at the end there. That was a real bummer to hear on the radio because we were chatting on team chat. Kind of felt for him there. So I got to give him props for just having just the raw speed today. I think he had all of us covered for sure.
Boy, what a season you've had, though. Now you get to go into Auto Club, and I know that you're generally kind of Mr. Conservative, especially on the ovals. That's why you've been so consistent. 13 top 5s, 13 top 10s coming into this race tonight, and 14 races counted in the points. And you're going to add to that tally here with this win. But you gotta be looking forward now to Auto Club. It becomes kind of a celebratory race for you. You get to kick back and kind of run it as hard as you want and not worry about any repercussions there. It's been a long time since you've been able to do that. You were in this dogfight with Sage all year.
Oh yeah. It's been, man, he did such a great job all year, and I know he missed a couple of races, and that really put him behind the 8 ball in terms of points. But yeah, he's been phenomenal, and we've kind of just been chasing his gearbox all year on the road courses. And then, the ovals, kind of anything can happen there. So you just try to play it smart and kind of be safe for the first half of the race and try to stay in the top 10 or so and just kind of try to have a shot there. So it's kind of been my, my strategy in terms of being consistent on the ovals. But yeah, like you say, going in the Auto Club, yeah, I guess unleash the hounds and just see what happens. I still put in a lot of effort just to be clean. You don't want to wreck anybody, but there's those opportunities that, if you're thinking long term, sometimes you back off a little bit and sometimes you don't. So yeah, I think Auto Club will just be fun. Just go out there hanging with the guys and have some fun.
Well, congratulations, Ryan. We look forward to it. We'll handle the formal accoutrement that night and present you officially with your second championship. But I can tell you that it is over, and a second consecutive championship for you here in the Retro Series presented by the DMLC Racing Channel is just truly a great accomplishment. You've been a great ambassador for the series and a great friend to all of us here. So congratulations on the championship and on the win tonight.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Ryan Otis, your 2020 champion, and picks up the win here tonight. And Brian Yazik, you have the honor of talking to Sage Karam, and I'm sure a disappointed Sage.
Yeah, Sage. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. What happened there? Yeah.
Well, that's how you throw a race away. No, I went for the 2-stopper. I think everybody else went for a 1-stop. I was just like, you know what? It's gonna be close to doing it on 1-stop. I figure, I'm just gonna go balls to the wall, 100% every lap, and maybe I can build a big enough gap and win this thing on 2 stops. And that's what we did. I even had a spin in the first stint. I spun and lost about 10 seconds, and we were still able to claw that back. But yeah, I don't know. It was a really slow pit speed. It was like 35 miles an hour, and it was I got down to the speed early enough and got to my box fine. And then when I left the box, the cones were not too far ahead since I was the first box, and I think I just went just slightly over it, and it nicked me for speeding. But no, I mean, I got to give it to Ryan. He's had an incredible season. He's a great guy. We're in the chat together, so we're constantly talking through all these races and everything. And I couldn't be happier for him. And he's a great champ. And I just made a mistake. That's it. It's but it was a lot of fun. I'm just happy to be here and just happy to be racing with these guys. They're a great group of guys, and couldn't thank everybody enough. Everybody races so clean and just having a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Sounds good. We noticed early just that outright pace. You've been strong on the roads all year, but it seemed like you were especially on it tonight here at Laguna Seca. I remember you saying earlier in the year there's a track that was your favorite. Where does Laguna rank here, man? Is this on your Mount Rushmore, or is this not even in your top 10?
No, I absolutely hate this track, to be honest with you. Yeah,
there's something everybody was looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, I've actually never had a good experience here in real life, and just never loved this track. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I had a little fire under my butt after last night. I got in an accident, and I don't know. I just wanted to go, and I think obviously, when everybody was saving fuel, and I wasn't, it kind of, made that, feeling of me being a lot faster than everybody way exaggerated. I don't think I was that much faster than Otis. Maybe a little bit, but not what you guys were seeing. When he was saving fuel and I wasn't, it was like a second a lap, but there's no way it was that when he wasn't saving fuel. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a cool track in these cars. I just love these cars. This car is a really cool car, especially with this new tire model. As you go on in the stint and further in the race, since we don't take tires at the halfway point, it just gets looser and looser and looser, and that kind of just like fits my driving style, and I just love, how that feels. So, I hope the IndyCar gets the new tire model soon because I love it.
Good. Sage, we'll catch up with you at Auto Club next month there for the finale. Till then, we'll catch you on track next week in the IndyCar.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. Thank you.
You, Sage Karam, on the way out of the podium. Jason, you've caught up with Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, one of the new F&Gs over at Loud Pedal Motorsports on the IndyCar side of things. And Aaron, man, great job here tonight. That was a heck of a battle you had with Chris Reagan towards the end of this one. And then Chris made that mistake, and you zoomed on by and held him off. Exciting race for you in third place. You got to be happy with.
Oh yeah, I mean the main thing is just relief. I can't tell you like how pressured I've been to get like another podium since Pocono when I just threw away the win, and then since then I feel like I've kept having these like Sonoma should have been a podium, Gateway I ran second all race, and it's just to get it on the last road course. It's just a huge relief, and hopefully I can go out and I don't know what the points look like yet, but hopefully I can still go and get third. I know double points in the last race. That's definitely possible too. So
Tell you what, give me a second and I can give you a pretty good idea here. You are 24 points back of Little Train, so I would say you have more than ample opportunity to get up there and take third place in points.
yeah, that's gonna be the big thing for me next time out. It's just relief, man. I'm so exhausted about it too. I was trying to push Reagan so hard so he'd make that mistake, and I was pushing hard too.
Yeah, we noticed you got a lot of airtime. Let me tell you, that was pretty much exclusively what we watched at the end there. How hard is it here? Yaz and I were talking about it. I just remember it's been a while since I've turned laps here in an open wheel car, but it's got to be difficult here with so many blind corners to be that tucked up behind the car in front of you like you were behind Chris and still hit your own marks.
Yeah, definitely. It is really difficult, especially when the apexes of all these turns have this big killer red curb that if you hit, it'll take your wing off or it'll send you spinning, especially going into the kink. I mean, there were so many moments in that race where I started turning in early and I had to just totally bail on it to save it. And it's even harder when you get so close. And you get the dirty air with it too, so it might not respond the way you expect it to or something. So it is difficult.
Well, congratulations. What a great run for you here tonight. That was a lot of fun to watch. You pick up a podium, like I mentioned, 4th in points now. You're 24 back a Little Train and got a 31-point cushion back to the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, as well. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on when we head into Auto Club in a couple of weeks. Great job.
Thanks, man. Hey, and congrats last night. And thanks for having me in Loud Pedal in the Indy Series, man.
Appreciate it, and definitely been fun having you there, man. You've been a great addition. That's Aaron Morgan, comes home in 3rd here tonight, up to 4th in the point standings, and that is going to do it for the final road course race of the 2020 season here in the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by the DMLC Racing Channel. What a way to close it out, crowning our champion. We want to thank the DMLC Racing Channel, and we want to thank Sim Experience for sponsoring Victory Lane. Of course, the Sim Experience AccuForce steering system, the most advanced tuning features on the market, and the AccuForce Direct Drive, second only to the real thing. Head to simexperience.com to see their full line of products. HyperX, whatever you play, however you play it, HyperX knows we're all gamers. Use that promo code LionHRT15. HyperXGaming.com. Of course, our friends at Butt Kicker as well. Feel what you've been missing, you can use the promo code LION2020 at TheButtKicker.com. And Mark Cohn at the DMLC Racing Channel, you will get to hand over the championship trophy to Ryan Otis here in a couple of more weeks. If you're interested in reaching out to any of the sponsors you see on the screen, head to LionheartRacingSeries.com to learn more information. Here at GSRC, we use music provided by June Lalonde. If you want more on this original music, contact info provided right there at the bottom of your screen. Of course, you see some of the other great programs we use as well to make these broadcasts come true. Retro Series returns for round 18. I call it the championship race, but we just crowned the champion. So I tell you what we're going to have, Yaz. We're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned shootout at Auto Club with these cars. I think it's going to be fun, but what do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be a great race. And now with everything left to settle out for the end of the year, I think there's only one way that we just I think we get the joy of watching that race unfold. Auto Club always puts on a show, especially of these cars. It's a great way to send off season 4.
Thursday, December 17th, same time. Important note here, if you're still hanging around and you're watching on the iRacing Esports Network, remember, you might have seen it, but the IESN kind of being phased out here. You're going to want to follow the Global Sim Racing channel, GSRC, here on YouTube. Head over to Global Sim Racing channel, hit subscribe. There's a link in the comments. That's where you can find the championship race, round 18, December 17th at Auto Club here for the Retro Series. GlobalSimRacingChannel.com for more information on all the great folks here that help put these broadcasts on. as well. Make sure you follow them on social media. Keep up with some of these great other races coming up here. Finally, on behalf of the crew tonight, Brian, Sean, and Dougie, I want to thank you all for watching. I'm Jason Galvin. Your race winner and your season champion is Ryan Otis. He takes the win in the HyperX Grand Prix of Laguna Seca. Remember, until next time, the only one who remembers when you come home in second is your wife and your dog. Good night, everybody.